going to. Good evening. Today we're going to be talking about traditional groups versus virtual groups. With me, I have Cole, and he's going to be discussing the traditional groups, and I'll be discussing the virtual groups. To get started, what are the benefits of online groups? Well, the biggest thing is that we can communicate over long distances. This in turn leads to increased time building our teamwork. That gives us greater communication within our workspaces or our one-on-one time. And with that increased communication comes increased productivity. Some other benefits are, like I mentioned before, distance. The second thing, how you're even viewing this video, is recordings of meetings. So these can be made for students who like to rewatch what is discussed. And there aren't a limit of how many people can be in a call. Everybody can be comfortable in their own rooms, and we don't have to cram 100 people into a 10 by 10 space. Or we don't have to put gas, because it's so expensive, we don't have to waste gas going to these meetings. But what are some of the downfalls of online groups? Well, sometimes internet can be a very big problem. Not everybody has access to high-speed Wi-Fi, and that can cause for breakups and some hard time communicating with each other. With some groups, if the host disconnects, then the meeting can end. And overall, getting things set up can be a much larger hassle sharing things to begin with than if you were in person and you were just taking photos of notes. Let's talk about older PCs. Sometimes webcams are not included in desktop computers. Now, for the most part nowadays they are, but not everybody has the newest computer. So webcams can be expensive, and different people have different schedules across states. So Cole is in Tennessee and he's 4 hours ahead of me because I'm in Alaska. And so when we schedule our meetings, we had to wait to find a time where my time, it would be early enough here that it wouldn't be, his bedtime, or it's not, my bedtime and his early morning routine. We had to find that right balance between our schedules, and that can be a big factor in whether or not people can actually meet. So which route is the best? Well, you'll have to decide for yourself after you hear Cole's presentation, but I believe that it depends on more what people are comfortable with and what there's availability for. It doesn't work out for me to go to Cole or Cole to come to me, because that's a lot of time and money when we can meet over Zoom or Google Meet. So I would propose a mixed group, and mixed groups are viable alternatives because we can mix people in the same area with people who aren't. So if I have people up here in Alaska, or Cole has people in Tennessee, they can meet and do things, and we can have two virtual groups that meet and get to talk. But mixed groups brings the best of both virtual and traditional groups, along with meetings that don't seem to be very productive, that can be greater boosted by out-of-state different perspectives rather than a single person study group. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Cole.
All right, so like Matthew said before, for my portion of the PowerPoint, I'll be discussing traditional groups. So let me pull this up real quick. There we go. So first off, I'm talk about why you should work as a group in general, whether it's virtual or traditional. So for one, working as a group is a great way to complete larger tasks because you're able to divide out the workload. That way you can get it done faster. Also, you can help each other out by giving each other different ideas and working as a group. And then one quote relating to group work is, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." And that was by Helen Keller. So traditional groups. So as Matthew pointed out, there's virtual groups, which you can do that while using technology, but the more common method to meet as a group is traditional groups, which is where you meet in person. Both work for different situations, but some are better for others. So what are the benefits of working in a traditional group? So I think that you're able to communicate more clearly because you're meeting in person. So there's you can easily clarify what you mean because they're sitting right next to you, and I feel like it's just easier to communicate. Also, you don't have to rely on technology, like as far as internet or what devices you're using. And also, it's just, I feel like it's easier to complete the work because you're right there in person and you're able to work off each other's ideas in real time. Now, some disadvantages of working in a traditional group is it can be less flexible because you have to find a time to meet in person. Also, like Matthew pointed out, people live in different parts of the world like us. He's in Alaska, I'm in Tennessee. So we'd never be able to really meet in a traditional group unless we spend a lot of time and money. Also, traditional groups are, they can take more time to complete work because you gotta drive somewhere or you gotta find a place to meet and go there before you can even start working. Whereas virtual, you just hop on your computer and you can start working immediately. So in conclusion, both virtual and traditional groups have their own advantages and disadvantages. So they can be better in certain situations depending on what your group looks like. But overall, I think that group work is the best method, and you can use teamwork to get the job done better. And here is our reference page, and that is our presentation.